Hello all, welcome to another endgame study of the Solving Harder Studies to Improve Chess Calculation series. This composition was created by the twin brothers that were born in Azerbaijan, the Sarychev brothers, Alexander and Kirill. Notice that when they produced this one, they were still teenagers. Amazing, amazing feature. Of course, later in life, Kirill stopped developing chess composers, but his twin brother Alexander went on to become the most famous, probably, chess composer from the Azerbaijan country. So it's white to play and to draw. Very few material, nevertheless, a very challenging one. I hope you are going to enjoy. As always, I suggest you watch the guide for the practice to become more efficient. And if you are already prepared, the 10-minute countdown, the main one, will start. And then I catch you back with the guided solution. And let's go for the solution. Of course, this is an amazing position, very few material, but what a challenge. Because on the other side, we have a pawn, we have a free pawn to promote. And of course, if you know from the rule of the pawn in the games, the king needs to enter the square. So the square is this one. And as you can see, the king can't go on inside the square in the next move, because if it tries to go to c6, that's impossible because the pawn is controlling. So not controlling the pawn is already a big question mark how I can draw this one. Of course, on the other side, we also have a pawn, and maybe we are thinking, okay, maybe I can promote my pawn. But of course, if I do that, that's a very basic mistake. Even if the king goes to the side, the bishop is now controlling the pawn. Of course, now the pawn won't go away because the king can go in front, but now the black king can come, help, and then promote to the pawn, and it's game over. It's an easy win for black from here. Don't need to calculate it anymore. Of course, other ideas from white will become like, let's say, for example, okay, let's stop the bishop come and control the promotion of the pawn. But of course, here black king can go and guarantee that one. And of course, now if you promote, it's the same thing again. The bishop goes and stays connected to the pawn. And if the king avoids to promote and tries to maneuver to the side, well, the bishop is already controlling, and it's no challenge more for black anymore. Even if the king goes close to the pawn next, we are going to approach and take the other pawn and then just help again the black pawn to promote. So what a move over here. Well, and so we need to find this amazing, incredible move. When I saw it, I was, what? They were producing this while they were teenagers, and me with all my age, my experience, chess years, I haven't found it. Okay, it's always fun. Chess is always fun, and there's always a surprise in every position. And the surprise here is to go, okay, in front of the pawn, king c8, double exclamation mark. If you have found it, congratulations, you are really good already in calculation. Because on the other side, of course, the pawn is going away. And so now it's white to play again. So let's stop again to think. Now we already discovered the first amazing move. Let's find how can white continue over here to go for a draw on this position. And now, of course, you need to find that the king needs to come back. Another brilliant way. So, the first two moves of the king were to go in front of the pawn and then remove from the front of the pawn. Okay, so what's going on over here? What's the idea behind this one? Well, if we go to the other side, it's an option. Of course, the pawn is going to say bye bye. Of course, black needs first to control the promotion. So let's go with bishop f5, but the pawn can't promote anymore, and black pawn is free to escape. So well, let's say I don't even know how to show you that this is almost impossible. Okay, let's go with this and now sacrifice, and of course, as you can see, it's game over. And the same goes to the side and to the other side. It's always the same. The bishop comes, and so the only possible way to continue to go for a draw is to bring the king to the starting position. And now it's again um, black to play. Of course, it's going to advance the pawn, and let's play as white for the final time before I reveal everything until the end. It's white to play and to draw. And last move for us to find is to go with the king d6. Brilliant one. I hope you have found this one. This is not easy, but the idea is okay, we are playing in two sides of the board at the same time. Because if we choose one side, let's say if we go to c6, well, then the bishop comes to control the promotion, and now I can't grab the pawn because the pawn just gets away while as white, I can't promote without the bishop taking it. And the other option that it's going to the other side, it's this, more or less the same variation we saw on the beginning of the solution. Well, the king just approaches again to guarantee that the bishop can go to f5, and now whatever move white tries, if it promotes, we just grab the queen, and the king is too late to grab the pawn. Just a small detail over here. Black has advanced the pawn. If it had went with the bishop checking, this would make it easier for white to discover the king going to d6 and now advancing the pawn. This just transposes to the main line. So black here advances the pawn, the king goes to d6, and now of course white is threatening to promote to a queen, so the bishop needs to come. And of course, that's the idea that because bishop decides to come to cover, we attack the bishop, winning a very critical tempo to win. Of course, over here, it's black to play. Let's say black goes and blocks the promotion of the pawn. Well, the king just goes after black pawn, and of course, black can try to delay it a bit, the king not approaching directly. But of course, white, as always, the promotion, forcing the bishop to move, and then it's game over from here. It's a draw. And what else? What else can black do over here? Of course, sacrificing the bishop is not enough. The king just accepts it, and of course we are going to promote. Black also promotes with check, but of course from here there are no tricks. This is just an easy draw. And from here, last but not the least, let's see the other final option, which is the king coming to protect the bishop and so controlling the promotion. Well, now it's too late. The king just goes after the pawn, and of course, the bishop can again try to delay it, but now we use the same idea. We sacrifice with the promotion. Now we approach, and even after this, it's game over. It's a draw. What a nice draw coming from this starting position that at first sight looked impossible. How can we would draw from the starting position? Hope you have enjoyed as always. Keep watching the videos. Bye bye and keep checking.